Here's the vice president last night comparing Donald Trump to Richard Nixon.
I'm actually fascinated by Nixon as a character in history. I think that his historical legacy is enjoying a bit of a renaissance, but I think deservedly so. As I joked with Robert backstage, if Watergate happened tomorrow, it would be like a 12-hour news story. Like, the idea that it would have taken down a presidency is crazy. And by the way, if you look at the story of how the deep state took down Richard Nixon, it's not all that different from what the same groups of people, the same institutions tried to do to Donald Trump in the first Trump administration.
The sitting vice president, let me just say, is trying to rewrite history. In his mind, what once was viewed as a constitutional crisis is now nothing more than just politics as usual. Tonight, House Oversight member Congresswoman Yasamin Ansari is with us. But first, I think the J.D. Vance, that clip is very important and is very telling, and it's not something people should just, again, laugh off and push to the side. Because to compare what happened with Richard Nixon to Trump and say that it was just the deep state absolves Nixon from any wrongdoing. It also just ignores the fact that people went to jail, that there were real reforms that happened after Watergate in Congress, as well as within the Department of Justice, because of what Richard Nixon did. The man was nearly impeached, and only was not impeached because members of his party went to the White House and said, you need to resign or we'll impeach you. So he's trying to rewrite history to sanitize us so we're all okay once Trump does a little more.
I appreciate that so much. And you know what? I'm here to say I think a significant portion and an important significant portion of the American people do as well. So the fact that you are reiterating it is important. But here's number two. Y'all know damn well there was no deep state that undid Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon's own dumb behavior did him in.
Paranoid behavior.
His paranoid, greedy, aggressive, I want it all behavior did him in. And let me be clear on the record, what is doing Donald Trump in is the exact same greedy, demanding, uncontrolled, irreverent, disrespectful behavior as President of the United States. There is no deep state, people. Could you please stop that BS noise? Because it doesn't exist the way you want to make it. To your very point, the fact that J.D. Vance, who someone told me was an intelligent human being, who someone told me went to institutions which if I would ask for those degrees back, as he sits in a national audience talking this kind of crap, knowing damn well what happened. I was there. I saw it unfold. I saw the reactions real time from my parents and neighbors and friends to what Richard Nixon did. No one's in secret cubbies, Luke, talking about some damn deep state.
Actually, he was in the secret cubby. Right. He is the damn deep state.
Thank you.
He was in the cubby.
What is a common thing that we've seen in this administration is this idea that nothing matters.
Right. Mm-hmm.
January 6th doesn't matter. It was just a little dust-up of some patriots trying to be heard. Richard Nixon and Watergate doesn't matter. That was just a misunderstood situation where the president may have engaged in all these illegalities. He may have fired a special prosecutor. Remember the Saturday Night Massacre, of which all these successive attorney generals resigned rather than carry out illegal orders? None of that matters. I come back to this week. What has mattered for this administration? The reflecting pool. Someone putting their finger in the water of the reflecting pool. We got to get the National Guard out. We got to get these massive new AI security cameras down there. We need to get out-of-state police down to the reflecting pool because that matters because the president's upset about it. Mm-hmm. What doesn't matter? The Epstein files. The Epstein files that the King of England's brother got caught up in and had to lose his position. The Epstein files that caused Bill Gates his marriage. The Epstein files that caused the current Prime Minister of England a lot of headache that has basically led to his resignation.
There you go.
So all these things don't matter. The reflecting pool does matter, but it brings us back to the Epstein files. Why doesn't that matter? Because, frankly, the president said Jeffrey Epstein, or there's allegations that they were best friends. And we do know that the president said to him in a birthday message, what was the quote? May every day be another wonderful secret. I think that that would matter for the American people to know why the President of the United States has such a relationship with somebody who has taken down a prince, taken down one of the world's richest men, and taken down, to some degree, a prime minister.
I mean, Congresswoman, if we could bring you in here, because Luke makes such an important point. And to be clear, the Jeffrey Epstein and the Epstein files was never just about Jeffrey Epstein. It was about it's also about the network of wealthy and well-connected people that helped power his enterprise of pedophilia, for lack of a better term. Did you learn anything new today in the depositions? Oh, pardon me, not depositions, because there was no subpoena.
Exactly. Well, first of all, to the conversation you all were just having, we know Donald Trump is running an unprecedented criminal enterprise out of the White House. Every day they are doing corrupt things that are, that 30 Watergates happen weekly with this administration. And with the Epstein files in particular, I believe this is the most egregious cover-up in American history. And today we had Leon Black. Leon Black is somebody who gave Jeffrey Epstein $170 million after he was convicted in 2008. So he was a known, convicted child sex trafficker. And Leon Black knew that. He himself has horrific allegations against him, NDAs. He was supposed to be in a transcribed interview. We've had a number of these. I mean, I've taken part in so many now. And even though they are behind closed doors and technically not under oath, which as oversight Democrats, we believe they 100% all should be, we usually learn something, right? And the people at least feign that they are cooperating. Leon Black barely made it today through the Republican hour. Typically, how it's crazy.
Now can you tell us?
Oh my God!
What happened?
So
as much as you can share.
Couldn't hit the batting practice.
We can share all of it. So actually, the first hour is Republicans, and it would have gone to a Dem hour, and sometimes it goes on for 7 hours, right? During that first hour, I will say the Republican staff members today, the council, they were asking hard questions. They were not going easy on Leon Black. And once it got to the subject of his NDAs, because he had a number of NDAs with women associated with Jeffrey Epstein who've accused him, etc., he would confer with his lawyer and then, say, we're not answering any questions as it pertains to this. If I'm recalling correctly, he even left the room to discuss it and then came back, said they're not going to talk about it. And then that's when the Republican chairman, James Comer, issue 2 subpoenas because it's just unacceptable. I mean, again, we've done these before. I have not found people like Howard Lutnick or Les Wexner credible, but they've gone through the process. They have taken part. It needs to be under oath, but they've taken part. This guy, it was clear, he was not going to answer any questions. So 2 subpoenas, one for the NDA, one to have him come back under oath. So this is big. I think hopefully it sets a precedent for the Republicans that every single one of these interviews needs to be in the form of a public hearing. And that's why when we take the majority, we need to bring every single one of these people we've had already back in front of the committee.